Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt something was off? Nothing looked wrong, everything seemed normal, and yet the space felt heavy. Or maybe you've come home after being out all day and felt unusually tired, drained, or just not quite yourself. Sometimes we think it's stress. Sometimes we think we just need rest. But sometimes we're feeling energy. And today I want to talk about one way this is understood through the idea of Jyaki. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If we haven't met before, I'm Nasreen. Here we talk about Reiki, energy healing, mindfulness, and simple everyday ways to feel lighter, more grounded, and more connected to yourself. And today's topic is really interesting one. We are talking about Jyaki, what it is, what it can feel like, and a few simple ways to clear it from your home and your everyday space. This topic was originally shared by Yoko on our Japanese channel, and I wanted to bring it here in English while adding a little extra context along the way, especially for anyone hearing this concept for the first time. So if you'd like to watch Yoko's original video, I'll link it for you below. And this is part 1, because in part 2, I'll be sharing a few quick ways to clear heavy energy instantly, especially when you're outside, traveling, or suddenly in a space that just doesn't feel quite right. So let's begin. So what is Jyaki? Jyaki is one of those Japanese words that doesn't translate perfectly into English. And just like the word Reiki, it can carry different meanings depending on the context. If translated very directly, it can sometimes sound stronger than what we actually mean here. Sometimes even a little intimidating. But for today, I'd like to approach it in a simpler way. When I talk about Jyaki, I'm talking about energy that feels heavy, stagnant, unsettled, or like something is lingering. It's not necessarily something bad, it's not something to fear. And it's definitely not about becoming worried every time something feels off. It's more like energetic residue. Something we may pick up from our surroundings, from stress, from emotional experiences, or even from spaces that haven't had movement, attention, or care in a while. Everything carries energy. People do, objects do, homes do, even the spaces we spend time in every day. And when that energy is flowing well, we usually feel it. A space can feel light, clear, comfortable, easy to breathe in. And when that flow becomes stagnant or heavy, we feel that too. Sometimes in our mood, sometimes in our body, sometimes in our home. That feeling is what we are exploring today through the idea of Jyaki. So why does this matter? Because whether we notice it consciously or not, we are constantly in relationship with the energy around us. We move through so many spaces every day, our homes, workplaces, public spaces, conversations, crowded environments. And we are also moving through our own emotions while taking in everything happening around us. Stress, mental noise, emotional tension, other people's moods, all of that can stay with us longer than we realize. Sometimes we feel it as tiredness, sometimes as mental fog, sometimes irritability, heaviness, restlessness, or that feeling of wanting to open a window, clear a room, or reset your energy without quite knowing why. And often, it's not just about what's happening internally. Sometimes it's also the environment around us. The spaces we spend time in can either support us or feel drained. That's why simple acts of clearing, cleaning, and creating movement in a space can feel so powerful. Not because everything has to be perfect, but because energy responds to attention. And when we bring awareness to a space, things begin to shift. So let's go into 5 places where this kind of heavy or stagnant energy tends to gather most. The first place is your shoes. This one may sound simple, but it's a powerful place to begin. Our feet are in direct contact with the ground every day. They carry us through so many different spaces, different environments, different energies. And because of that, our shoes tend to collect more than just physical dirt. They carry the energy of where we've been. And when they are neglected, left dusty, worn down, or piled by the door without care, that energy can feel a little heavy too. So, one of the easiest things you can do is simply give your shoes some attention. Clean them, wipe them down, wash them if they need it. And if there's a pair you've been meaning to let go of, this may be your sign. You can also bring awareness to your feet themselves. Even washing your feet at the end of the day or taking a moment to massage them before bed can feel incredibly grounding. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just bringing care to what supports you every day can create a real energetic shift. The second place may surprise you, and that's what you wear, especially the layer closest to your body. Clothing holds energy too. It stays close to us through the day. It absorbs movement, emotion, environment, even how we feel in ourselves. And sometimes certain clothes feel lighter to wear than others, and we notice that immediately. One practice often connected with energetic cleansing is wearing white, especially as an inner layer. White has long been associated with clarity, freshness, and cleansing. And many people naturally reach for it when they want to feel lighter, clearer, or renewed. This could be a white undershirt, a white t shirt, sleepwear, or even something simple underneath your regular clothes. It doesn't have to be visible, and it doesn't have to be all white from head to toe. It's more about intention, a small energetic reset, a feeling of creating space around yourself. And of course, wear what feels good to you. If white feels calming or refreshing, try it and notice how you feel. Your body usually tells you very quickly what supports your energy. The third place is your floor, especially dust, corners, and carpets. This one is simple, but incredibly important. A helpful way to think about it is this: dust is something we can see. Heavy energy is something we often feel, and sometimes they gather in the same places. Where dust settles, energy can settle too. That's why even a small bit of cleaning can completely change how a room feels. If you're not sure where to start, start with the floor. Not the shelves, not organizing drawers. The floor. Sweep it, vacuum it, wipe it down. Pay attention to corners, under furniture, places that get missed often. And if you have carpets or rugs, spend a little extra time there. Carpets tend to hold on to everything: dust, air, movement, and energy. And once they are cleaned, the whole room can feel different: lighter, clearer, more open. You don't need to deep clean everything at once. Even one small area can shift the feeling of an entire space. The fourth place is the kitchen, especially inside cupboards and the spaces we don't look at very often. This one can be a little unexpected because from the outside, everything may look perfectly tidy. The counters are clean, the sink is done, everything looks fine. But then inside a cupboard, there are old containers you forgot about, expired spices, unused dishes, things being stored just in case that haven't been touched in years. And that hidden clutter can create a feeling of stuckness in a space. The kitchen is where we prepare food. It's where nourishment begins. So the energy there can feel especially important. When it feels clear and spacious, the whole home often feels lighter. And when it feels packed, crowded, or forgotten, we can feel that too. If this resonates with you, try opening one cupboard, just one, and take a look with fresh eyes. What's still useful? What's expired? What's simply taking up space? You don't need to clear everything in one day. Even creating a little breathing room can make a big difference. A bit more space, a bit more airflow, a bit more ease. Sometimes that's all energy needs to begin moving again. The fifth place is your mirrors and your windows. These are easy to overlook in everyday life. We notice them when they're very dirty, but often we stop really seeing them. Mirrors and windows both work with light. They reflect it. They carry it through a space. They affect how a room feels. And when they're cloudy, dusty, or marked, a room can start to feel a little dull without us realizing why. But when they're clean, more light comes in. Everything feels brighter, more open, more alive. Even emotionally, it can feel like the space can breathe again. So if there's a mirror you've been meaning to wipe down, or a window with fingerprints, dust, or rain marks you keep noticing, take a few minutes with it. You don't need to clean every window in the house. Just one. One mirror, one window, one small shift. And then pause for a moment and notice how the room feels afterward. Sometimes the difference is immediate. So what happens after you clear these spaces? Usually, the first thing people notice is not dramatic. It's subtle, but very real. The room feels lighter. Your body feels lighter. Your breathing feels easier. Your mind feels quieter. Sometimes it feels like you can think more clearly. Sometimes your shoulders soften without you even realizing they were tense. Sometimes the space just feels better, more comfortable to be in, more peaceful, more open. And often that feeling isn't only about the room itself. When your environment feels lighter, it becomes easier for you to feel lighter too. There's more flow, more ease, more clarity. And that can ripple into everything: your mood, your focus, your sleep, your energy throughout the day. So this isn't about trying to create a perfect home. And it's definitely not about fear. It's not about thinking, oh no, I need to clear all this heavy energy right away. It's much gentler than that. It's more like creating space for yourself to feel supported, to feel refreshed, to feel good where you are. And sometimes even the smallest act, cleaning one corner, opening one cupboard, washing one window, can completely shift how a space feels. And this is really just the beginning, because sometimes we feel this kind of heaviness outside the home too. You walk into a place and immediately feel uncomfortable. You leave a conversation and feel drained. You enter a room and your mood shifts before you even understand why. It happens. And when it does, it helps to have something simple you can do in that moment. So, in part 2, I'll be sharing more tips from Yoko, simple energetic clearing practices for those moments when energy feels heavy, unsettled, or just a little off. Practices you can use while you're out in the world, traveling, moving through crowded spaces, or any time you want to reset your energy and come back to yourself. They're simple, practical, and easy to do in just a few seconds. So if that sounds helpful, keep an eye out for part 2. I'll be sharing more of Yoko's tips there. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever walked into a space and immediately felt energy there? Or noticed how different your home feels after cleaning, clearing, or opening up a room? If any part of today's video resonated with you, let me know in the comments. I always love hearing your experiences and reading how these practices feel for you in your own life. And if you'd like to come back to this video later, feel free to subscribe so it doesn't get lost and you can find it anytime you need it. If YouTube is showing the hype button for you, feel free to tap that too. It really helps the video reach more people who may need it. If you'd like to watch Yoko's original video, I'll link it below. And I'll see you in part 2, where I'll be sharing more of Yoko's tips for quick, energetic clearing when you're out in the world. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.